Dzień dobry, nie mówię po polski, angielski, dziękuję bardzo. Wisła Krakow i jazda.
Timmy!
No, it's Jimmy. Blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah, blah. Indeed, I am Jimmy James. You're watching Catch It Live First. We have got the build-up for you for today's game between Odra Opole and the mighty Wisla Krakow. This was the last meeting between the two clubs earlier this year, but last season, if that makes sense. Wisla coming out on top, 2-1 winners. Good performance from Wisla, and we were slightly the better side. And there was a mistake, as you'll see from the keeper, Lakiewicz, it was in goal at the time. Not fantastic, but hey-ho, there you go. And I would settle for the same result today. Just let's get 3 points. Just before we do the build-up, what do you make of this? What do you make of an article by Luka Pavlik? And the title is, Wisla Krakow has an ambitious plan for the future. The president spoke openly about it. That is Jarosław Królewski, our fearless leader. So in the article, it's pretty... There's just one line in it that makes me think, hello, what's going on here? So bear with me, let me read it to you. I'll put my glasses on first, that'd help. Wisla Krakow is currently playing its 4th consecutive season in Poland's second tier. The Krakow team's mission is to return to the Ekstraklasa, which, if you don't know, is like the Polish Premier League, from which it was relegated at the end of the season 21-22. However, it turns out that Wisla is not only aiming for promotion, but is setting its sights even higher, as the Krakow club's president discussed in a recent interview. So, what do you make of this? This is what JK said. I want Wisla to return to the Ekstraklasa and then win the Polish Championship as soon as possible, regardless of my role at the club. Right? Regardless of my role at the club. So at the moment, he is the owner. I think Peter Moore has come in and bought, I'm going from memory, I think it's a 5% stake. So that's what he said. This was in the programme for Gazeta Krakowski. Tresia Strono Błon. Apologies for the Polish. He went on to say, whether I continue as president, whether I become a co-owner, hello Peter Moore, who's there this weekend with his good lady wife, whether I clean here or work in the office, we want to build a new Wisla based on the foundations of history and tradition. Polish football needs Wisla Krakow in the Ekstraklasa, but it also needs the same mindset that Wisla Krakow has today. We're not having success in the Champions League or Europa League, although the Conference League is a huge achievement. As a country of 40 million, we're not having great success in football, so it's good to stir the pot a little. End of quotes from Jarosław Królewski, the Wisla owner. What does he mean by... What exactly does he mean when he says, and I'm looking for the quote again, whether I continue as president, whether I become a co-owner. We keep getting dropped these little breadcrumbs now. We've got Peter Moore over, who's taken a stake in the club. I think it's 5%. If you don't know who Peter Moore is, have a look. His background and his pedigree is top draw, taking Liverpool to success or being part of the team, the backroom team, as you might want to say, that's seen Liverpool transform the good team into a Premier League winning team. So he's no longer with Liverpool now. I think he's with Wisla Krakow, and I think he might have a stake in Wrexham. Don't quote me on that one. That's from memory as well. But yeah, he's no fool. And if you look at his curriculum vitae, it's impressive. It's impressive. So he's at the game this weekend as well. Like I said, there's some announcements going to be being made. I was talking to Adrian Kumkorodkovits last night, who's in Krakow. He'll be at the game tonight, so best of luck, Adrian, for us all, that is. So, yeah, so what these announcements are going to be, I'm not too sure. One of the other breadcrumbs I was talking about being dropped was the other evening. They were talking about, or JK was saying, Wisła needs a new stadium, and sooner rather than later. Now, where the money's going to come from for this stadium, I don't know. I did say in the news video that we did, could it be a conglomerate? Could it be partially funded by the local municipality? Could it be funded wholly and solely by Wisla Krakow? I don't know how that would happen, but in this day and age, anything is possible. So there's obviously things going on in the background that make me wonder if somebody is going to come in, put some money into the club with JK, whether it's going to be Peter Moore, whether it's going to be somebody else, whether it's going to be solely JK because he's restructured the debt. I'm not sure, but hopefully we'll find out more today before the game when some announcements are going to be being made. Exciting times for Wisła Krakow. So, an article wrote by Luka Pavlik again. Wisła wants to get back on the winning track. This is how they can play against Odra. So after 2 straight defeats, Wisła Krakow is looking to get back on the winning track against Odra Opole. Here's the team's predicted lineup for the match against the Blues and Reds. So I'll go through what Luca says and what his expectations are, and then I've just got a couple of points that I want to make on this this article. Wisła Krakow will enter the match against Odra Opole as leaders of the BetClic 1. However, just before the international break, the 13-time Polish champions lost to Legnica by 2-0. In turn, the White Star lost to Pusher by 4-1 in a friendly. Not bothered about that. Not bothered about that at all. There is one thing I want to mention about that a little bit later in this article. So Redardo played in that as well. It came through it injury-free. Not everybody did. Meanwhile, it's possible that the Wisła Krakow coach will decide to make a change to the lineup for the clash against Odra Opole. Kamil Broder is the clear number 1 keeper for Krakow, so it's unlikely there will be any changes with the keeper. He's number 1 at the moment, but I don't think Patrick Lekiewicz is completely out of the picture. And you've also got Chichkan as well. So we're doing okay for keepers. So yeah, I would agree Kamil Broder at the moment is number 1, but it's not by a long chalk. And it's certainly, I don't think it would weaken the team if a change was made at keeper. We have got plenty of cover there, despite the mistake that you'll see over here from Lekiewicz. Julian Lelyeveld, Victor Biedrzycki and Jakub Krasinski are expected to start in defence. However, it's possible that the Wisła coach will choose Dario Grudzic to replace Kutwa in the starting lineup. Now, this is where a little bit of controversy. Let's not make a mountain out of a molehill. But in that friendly against Putscher, where we got beat by 4-1, like I said, not bothered about the score. What I'm bothered about is Grudzic went off in the first half injured. Nothing, as far as I can see, has been said by Wisła about what the nature of the injury was. Was it a strain? Was it an impact injury, which is painful, but yeah, that's nothing. Was it something more serious? They never came out and actually said what it was. I reached out to Wisła if we could get an injury update. Nothing coming back. So they're playing the cards close to the chest there. But from this article, it looks like the injury to Grudzic was nothing. So we will see. I would want to know what the conversation, if this is going to be the lineup, and it's only an opinion, but if Grudzic is going to replace Kutwa, how does Mariusz Jop explain this to Kutwa? Kutwa's been called up to the Polish under-20 teams. under 20 team. So maybe he could hit him with, have a bit of a rest. You've not had one through the international break. But and Grudgic, I want to see Grudgic in this defence. Don't make no mistakes about that. I think he's a fantastic player. Really fantastic player. Can pass a ball 50, 60 yard and put it on a 10 pence piece. But is that not a confidence knock to Cutwa? In Cutwa's mind, does he then start thinking the manager is blaming me for the loss against Legnica? You know, and after having such a good start to the season, I'm not convinced that Cutwa will be on the sidelines. But we'll see once the lineups come out. But either way, he would have to really handle Cutwa with care in respect, and I'm sure he will do. But I would love to know if this is going to be a change, Grudgic in for Cutwa, how he explains that to the 20-year-old, because he's had a good start to the season. He's been scoring as well. You know, so it's do you want to upset the apple cart? The balance of the team, I'm not convinced, but we'll see on that one. Like I said, when the team lineups comes out, it will be interesting to see. In midfield, the following players will most likely play. Duda, who was also on under 20 international duties for Poland and played. Kaziemka also with the Polish under 20s team. I'm not sure whether he got any game time or not, but he was certainly in the squad. Duarte and Mark Carbo, along with Ertehala playing in just behind Redado, who will play up front. It goes on to say Ertehala, after transferring from Chicha, became the leader of the midfield in the team from Krakow. Meanwhile, Angel Redado will be responsible for the goals. The Spanish striker has already made 8 appearances across all competitions this season, scoring 10 goals. He has, and that 10 goals is impressive, but I think, going from memory, Wisla, we've put 28 goals in this season so far. It's been spread around the whole team. So it's not just Redado, although the 10 goals is impressive, I've got to say. So today's game starts at 7:30 in Krakow, 6:30 here in the UK. Excuse me. Over 30,000 spectators will be in attendance. It's going to be a fantastic atmosphere today. There will be some crowd, that is for sure. And obviously Peter Moore is going to be there before the game with some announcements and the introductions. I'm assuming they will introduce him on the pitch to the fans. They've made a real fuss of him of Wisla Krakow while he's over there, so, and rightly so. So, before today's game, Mariusz Jop has come out and said, Luka Pavlik again reporting, the Odra River is Wisła's next test. Jop warned against their rival. Wisla Krakow will host Odra Opole on Saturday evening in its 9th round of the BetClic 1 season. The Krakow team will be aiming for the 7th victory of the season. Meanwhile, coach Mariusz Jop issued a warning about their opponent. Wisla Krakow will return to league action after the break on Saturday. The White Star will be aiming for the 7th victory of the season. Before the match, the Krakow coach addressed the previous defeat to Legnica and the friendly loss to Pucha, speaking about the team's mental preparedness. Jop said, "What I see above all is good work, commitment and a focus on training. We know it's only the beginning of the season. We're happy with the points we've collected so far, but we're not looking at the table," said Mariusz Jop during the press conference. I don't believe him. I think you will be definitely looking at the table. Odra Opole, whose last victory came in early August, will stand in Wisła's way. The coach of the 13-time Polish champions emphasised that despite the weak results, the opponent remains a threat. Jop said, Odra will be a demanding opponent. We expect a rather weak defence, counter-attacks and threats from set pieces. Half of their goals came from that. They are an ambitious, physical team and will certainly present us with difficult conditions, Jop noted. So they are a physical team, as were Legnica. and this is what we've spoke about, or what I've spoken about in the past. The blueprint for a result against Wisla is Legnica. The way Legnica play against Wisla, they keep it tight at the back. They go narrow. They try and force Wisla down the side. They'll sit in. Anything that comes in, they'll expect to clear, because we're not blessed with great height in attack. So that will be the blueprint. And it worked for Legnica now. It's worked twice. Other teams will note this. And this is where I've said with Wisla, we need to overload down the flanks, start pulling players out from the middle, creating space. A determined, efficient defence that's well drilled can cause Wisla problems. As much as I hate to say it, we need to find another way to play against this. And I'm convinced that it's overloading down the flanks and pulling players from the middle, which is then creates, once you get a scrambling defence, Wisla, we're in. I'm not saying we're going to score every time, because that would be silly, but it'd give us so much more opportunity. Ridardo needs half a yard. Ertahala, half a yard. Look at Duarte. We've got so many scoring options, but we need to create that environment where they can get the space for a shot or a header or you know. And if teams are just sitting in narrow, blocking the edge of the penalty area, it becomes frustrating for the striker. It becomes frustrating for the Wisla attack in general. The fans get frustrated, and it also emboldens whoever you're playing against. So, and we just need that opening goal. Then they're going to have to come out at some point, which automatically creates the space that we need, and we'll go on and get 2, 3, 4, you know, and so on. But it's getting that initial goal, opening up the game, which then suits us. So we'll see what happens today. Also, they are a physical side, as are Legnica. So I've spoken about that before. If we lose the first ball due to size, nothing wrong with that. But you've got to compete. You have to compete for that second ball, because otherwise you're just going to spend the game getting bullied, and then you're chasing scraps. And even if your opponent don't have the ability to, you know, play the ball in such a way that it's going to cause you problems, and they'll keep it and they'll build a platform, they'll put you under pressure. At some point in a game, everybody has 5-10 minutes maybe where they'll put you under pressure. But it just allows, through the physicality, for them to break things up, and it becomes a game about you chasing the ball as opposed to being on the ball and pulling them out of position. So Wisla, yeah, if you can win the first ball, fantastic. If you can't win the first ball, you definitely need to be winning the second ball, or at least competing, so that there's no platform put forward for your opponent. And they will look to break on Wisla. Wisla will be fully aware of this. We've got enough pace, you know, so we need to be careful of the set pieces as well. Odra Opole, they do like a set piece. So, you know, let's not be looking to give them any cheap free kicks where they can lump that ball in the middle and compete. That's what Wisla needs to be aware of today, for sure. Before we go on from that, I just want to thank, if we haven't already done so, Bowtie and Bartek, latest subscribers to the channel. You're more than welcome. Hope to see you in live chat at some point. Now, looking currently at the head-to-head between these two teams, Wisla have definitely got the upper hand. Head-to-head matches between the two teams. In the last 5 matches, Opole, they beat Wisla in a sparring match, 3-1. Don't care about that. They also beat Wisla 3-1 in August of 2023, and it was at Wisla. Don't know I can't remember what went on with the game, but all right, that was a good result for them. But we're a very different team from what we were in August of 2023. And from then on, Wisla, we've won away at Odra 2-1, At home, we beat them 5-0. And the last time out, which was in April of this season, coming towards the end of last season, we went to Opole, as you can see, and we beat them by 2-1. The one goal they did get was a mistake from Lakiewicz, where he literally put it into his own goal. But these things happen. But nothing for Wisla to be overly concerned about. Yeah, we've got to be respectful, but we should be taking all 3 points today, and convincingly. If you look at Opole's last five results, they lost 6-1 against Rakow. Not bothered about that. That was an international friendly. A few days ago they lost 6-1. Before that, they got a draw against LKS Woods at home. They lost at home against Pruskov by 2-0. Not sure what happened, whether there was yellow cards, whether there was red cards or not. But that's not a good performance, that. They lost against Stal Mielec by 2-1. Okay, you would probably expect that, to be honest. But at the time, Stal Mielec weren't ripping up any trees. They weren't playing fantastically well. They were readjusting to being in the BetClic 1. So it's... and the other game, which was a decent result for them, they got a draw 1-1 at home against Śląsk Wrocław, or if you're in the UK, Śląsk Wrocław. But I can assure you in Polish, it's Śląsk Wrocław. So they've had a mixed start to the season. And they're languishing, towards the bottom. And that included, they've also had a couple of victories in there as well. But they're on 9 points. They've won 2, drawn 3, lost 3. So they do like a draw. They are quite tight at the back, which makes me think they will sit in today and try and emulate what Legnica did against Wisla. So it could be a frustrating game. They're probably going to be pushing 33,000 there today. And the fans will stay with Wisla, but we also need to be patient. If we get on top early, everybody bombing forward, fine. Just be aware that they will have a plan for a counter-attack. Whether they've got the players to make that count, I'm not overly convinced that they do in the way that Legnica can do it. However, they are capable of causing an upset. And like we've said, especially from set pieces. Excuse me. So we do need to be aware of that. So it's going to be an exciting match. I'm so looking forward to it. The excitement's going to build for this even before a ball is kicked, with Peter Moore being there, Jarosław Królewski. What announcements have they got? It could be something major. Could be something, an introduction, or what they're looking to do in the future. How far into the future? Maybe a timeline is there, or is it further away? We'll find out more today. Cannot wait. I cannot wait. This afternoon, we have got Football Special, all the goals as they go in from around the UK and Europe. In the UK, we'll start at 3, finishes about 5. Then we'll start the build-up to tonight's game. We'll get on there about 5 minutes before. We'll go through the team lineups and what have you. Then we will have full English commentary with live highlights of what is happening. We'll have the animations. Live chat will be open. Get involved with that. Hopefully, we will have a geezer in there. Piotr may be in there. Frankie James might be in there. And it should be a great evening. So don't forget, if you haven't done so already, please hit that subscribe button. Ping that notifications bell. If you can give us a thumbs up, that'd be superb. If you can share the links to the live stream, I'll love you forever. We are growing. We are growing as a channel. Wisla Krakow, not that it needs to, but it is growing as a club. There's much more. When you look at the articles that are written, the videos, the streams, Wisla is growing and it is going places. So hopefully, I was hoping to have some new merchandise that I've ordered from the club arrive today. If not, well, got to get your scarf on, haven't you? Support your team. And the weather's getting a bit cooler now, so a scarf doesn't look out of place. Join me tonight, 6:25 in the UK, for a 6:30 kickoff, 7:30 over in Krakow. It's going to be a corker. I am Jimmy James. You've been watching Catch It Live first. I'll see you later today.